G'day and welcome to the Space Engineers Economy Update First Public Test. Now, this thing is not currently live, and I'm sure Keen are planning on doing some more public tests, so hopefully you'll be able to get in to have a look at this yourself soon if you haven't already. What I wanted to do here was have a look at a few of the things that I would like to test in the future ones, since I think some of these things are likely to change, or at least I hope some of them are. The first thing I'd like to point out is that I have spawned on Europa, and I can't see any bases nearby. Now, when I played this jumping into Titan, on every occasion I've seen bases nearby. On Earth, I've seen none, and it's varied depending on where you start, so sometimes you may need to search out to find nearby bases. However, those bases are there. If we look in the entity list, you'll see that there's an outpost. Well, there's 3 outposts, one from SOSL, one STDC, one UVPR. So that's, Sovereign Settlers, Star Drilling, and Universal Prospectors. And this one appears to be the closest. This one is actually on the surface too. Well, isn't that nice? So let's head over there and start having a look at some of the things we can do with the contracts at this place. I am going to give myself creative mode so that we can test this stuff properly, since the first time I tested this, and have a look over on Shaq's channel. I should have the video in the top right. You'll see how far we got when we weren't in creative mode. The way it seems to work with the NPC stations is that they will spawn within 15 kilometers of your player, which makes sense since that's the default visual distance. However, their beacons won't become visible until you're within 10 kilometers, as you just saw there. The SOSL beacon became visible as I crossed that 10 kilometer mark. Once I head outside that range, it will become invisible again. So I will need to keep an eye on where they are, mark them with a GPS so that I can easily come back to find them again. Let's head to the Universal Prospectors one, which is 5.4 kilometers away instead of the one that's 8 kilometers away. This vehicle is not set up for lunar driving. One of the nice things about these stations is their safe zone. So instead of being all nice and careful as you approach, because they're in a safe zone and because the safe zone does not allow block damage, you can do ridiculous stuff like this. And nothing happens to anything. Just, kind of weird, but also kind of handy, because it's always nice to have an easy way to stop. Now that we've arrived, let's have a look at what missions we have available here. If we go into our contracts block here, you'll see that we've got search, acquisition and search and acquisition. Oh, a hauling contract as well. There are a few different types of contracts already available. We've got acquisition, we've got bounty, we've got escort, we've got hauling, repair, and search. My favorite one of these so far is the escort mission. This one is basically something that takes me back to early games like GoldenEye, where you had to escort a character that had the most ridiculously basic AI that meant it was almost impossible to keep it alive. Which sounds terrible, but actually works out to be quite fun because you have to compensate for its stupidity. And what we're going to do, since I haven't been able to find any of these contracts on planetary stations, is we're going to head up to space and we'll run one of these missions first. Since they're my favorite, I want to start with them. Just like the planetary bases, we've got another contracts block, and this one's got escort, repair, search, and acquisition. So let's grab one of these escort missions and accept. Yes. Hopefully I won't fail it, but I'm almost certain I will. All I brought with me in terms of combat ship, is my croissant, which hopefully will at least survive long enough to show what happens with these contracts. So what's going to happen with this mission is this ship shortly is going to start flying. It's going to move forward at about 30-ish meters a second until it reaches its destination or gets destroyed. If it reaches its destination, it will jump out and you will get a completion of the mission. If it doesn't reach its destination, and it seems from what I've tested so far that the way it calculates not reaching its destination is losing all power or losing its remote control block, you will fail, you will lose reputation. Not ideal. But it's actually quite hard to protect these things, since the drones that come up against us, oh, no, we're on our way, let's relative damp to it. The drones that we come up against actually fly straight at this thing. So you need to be out in front of it and not so close in front of it that it tries to avoid you, so that you can take the damage instead of it. And I've been thinking about this. This actually opens up some pretty cool opportunities in terms of tactics, because you could have someone whose role is to be the blockade runner. So a very heavily armored ship with decoys that flies in front of this while your friends fly around in formation and try and take out the drones as they appear. And here we go. Here comes the first wave of drones. Whoops, don't want missiles. I want guns. I want lots of guns. Oh, taking fire. Now these enemies do fire missiles at us as well. Obviously what I just did then and accidentally strafed the ship I'm supposed to be escorting was not ideal. There we go. First. Oh. Surely we've killed it all now. That seems to be the first wave over. You have to fight quite a few waves though. So you need to be able to survive quite a fair bit of combat. In my attempts so far, the Croissant has not been successful in getting my cargo to its destination, which is a bit unfortunate, but still fun. Now, you can also repair these cargo ships. So if you've got something that's a welder ship, you could also provide support to your friends who are running these missions by repairing these ships en route, which is really kind of cool. And I think you can even, in fact, let's test it after this round. I want to see if you can put some weapons on the ship you're supposed to be escorting. Oh, I just lost some guns. There goes one. Come on, come on. Alright. That seems to be okay. Let's catch back up, and then I'm going to try and attach some weapons to the ship I'm supposed to be escorting. It's not my usual style to create walkthroughs for missions, since I want people to normally experience them for themselves. But I think in this case, it's kind of interesting to find out what the game's going to let you do to these ships. So let's try this. I need an attachment point. If I get rid of some of these blocks and add some armor. Oh, geez. Coming, incoming. And then we'll use creative mode and we'll spawn this thing some ammunition. Ah, no. Hit the wrong button. And I keep getting shot. There we go. It's got ammo. And it's working. It's working. Yes. So you can up armor your escort ships. Now that provides some interesting alternative approaches. Instead of just waiting around until these things fly off, it's quite possible that you could use that time to add a bunch of guns to it so this thing protects itself. And let's make sure it's got its range to max. There we go. Do the same with this one. Let's see if we can get this thing to do all of the work for us. Obviously, you're going to lose the resources that you put into these guns because this ship's going to jump away, and that means you're not going to get any of it back. But if the contract's valuable enough, it could be worth it to you. So as I said before, you can repair these things and give yourself a little bit more durability on your protectee. Obviously, I'm using creative mode tools here, so it makes life a lot easier in terms of repairing and adding blocks. But I think it's feasible if you're in a group for one person to be set to the task of repairs for these things, to give yourselves a bit of an extra chance at completing the contract successfully. Let's give myself a better welder. Oh, apparently we're going quite fast. Come on, guys. Shoot them down. You can see how quickly they come through and how easy it would be for these things to just smash. There we go. Straight into your protectee. Oh. Something spun us off tilt. Oh. Big hit on the middle of the ship. Did we just lose gyro control? I don't know. Does seem to be just tumbling. Might give it a gyro back because it looks like it's lost them. Given how difficult this is with the vanilla drones, just imagine how much fun and how much challenge you could have, even with shield mods, if you were playing against, say, Lucas's Orcs, or the Corrupt, or Reavers. Oh, This sort of mission is just going to be so much fun. There we go. Successfully complete. Now, I wanted to check something. Will I jump? Nope. Nope, no jump. Oh, well. So that's how it goes when we complete a mission. So if we go to our inventory, you'll see that we've now got some credits. And if we go to the factions menu, which faction are we at? We are at DVMA. So if we go to our factions menu and go to Divine Manufacturers, you'll see that our standing is now 5 in the positive. How's this going to go if we try and pirate or if we fail the mission? Let's do the fail the mission first. So we'll go contracts, we'll get another escort contract, accept, yes. So the failure reputation penalty is going to be 2, which really isn't too bad. We'll still be in positive with these guys. Oh wait, no, that's not our accepted. So our failure, whoops, I was looking at the repair contract. So the escort contract, if we go into our accepted, will show us that we're going to lose 5 reputation. Now, I think it would be nice if we also had to pay some sort of collateral for this, since I think the penalty is not quite harsh enough. Or at least, if we had the possibility of stealing these ships, it wouldn't be quite harsh enough. So as I was saying before, the loss condition for this stuff is if this ship loses its remote control or if it loses all its power. So let's do power first. Pop those batteries out, get rid of these solar panels, and contract failed. This whole thing goes kablamo and disappears. So I just lost 5 reputation and got very little for it. But you can be a bit cheeky with this. I have a way that you can capture the whole ship, or pretty much the whole ship, and only lose that reputation. And this is why I think the punishments might do with some being made a little bit harsher. So let's go grab another escort contract. And escort, accept, yes. Now we know we can't take all the power away, but what you might have noticed is that there were a few blocks that remained floating around after we destroyed the last ship. So, escort this ship. Now, where is the remote control on this thing? I wish I could remember, but I can't. I think it could be over here somewhere. Ah, remote control's back here. All right. So we've got the remote control here. That means we should be able to do this. Cut this thing in half, and everything to the right. Oh. Aha! Or everything to the left will remain after I do it. So there are ways to steal stuff from the NPCs by just losing a little bit of reputation. I now have this half of a ship, and all it cost me was 5 reputation, which is kinda cool. But what this also tells me is it turns out it might not just be power and the remote control block that make you fail one of these missions, since I didn't delete either of those things just now. The right-hand side of the ship still had some power, or did it? These solar panels, yeah, they're in the sun, so they should be getting some. They should have been getting some power. So I don't think it lost power, and I don't think the batteries and reactors are all on this side. So I suspect there's a third condition, which is a certain number of blocks lost from the ship. But that's enough of the escort missions. Let's see how low I can get my reputation before these guys start shooting at me. Right now, if I go to my factions, Divine Manufacturers, I am at -10. Oh. Okay. Guess I don't need to test that because it says it all here. So -1500 of -500, unable to interact and attacked on sight. -500 to 500, able to interact. And from 500 to 1500, able to interact, and you get bonus deals. That's kind of cool. You get a 0%, you get an up to 10% discount and up to 5% sell bonus. Nice. So I'd have to steal a lot of stuff from these guys before they'd hate me, since I've only gotten to -10 and I need to get -500. I'm willing to bet that gets a balancing pass and gets changed a little bit in the future. since it's pretty easy to steal a lot of very valuable stuff. Now, we've had a look at our escort contracts. Let's have a look at acquisition ones. These are pretty simple. It's basically grab a bunch of components and deliver them to the base. You can either do this if you can carry the components on your person or if they are in your ship. Now, let's accept this one. Acquisition, 23 gravity components, accept. That is a huge payment as well. These are ridiculously lucrative for what they are. I think these ones need to be worth a bit less since they are very, very valuable compared to the difficulty of completing them. Now, if I spawn in 23 gravity generator components, you'll see that I can only pick up 5 of them. That means if I go in here and try and turn these in, finish, confirm. Contract could not be finished. Selected ship does not contain enough items. So, because I selected myself there. And the other thing to note there was that I did not get partial completion of the mission either. And I think that would be a nice touch to add if we could partially complete these missions. So we could drop off some of the bits and then drop off some more and some more. So I'm going to drop these components inside the ship. So I've got all but 2 of these gravity components in the ship right now. If I hop in the cockpit and we fly in, and I hook myself up to one of these connectors. Let's just use it to slow me down. There we go. Handy. So let's lock. Now let's go inside. Remember, I'm carrying 2 of the required gravity components on my person. Let's see if we can turn this in. Over here to our contracts, accepted contract, finish. Let's select combat croissant, confirm. Contract could not be finished. All right, let's try it again with character inventory selected, confirm. No, not able to do it. So even though I've got enough of the components here, in that I've got 2 on my person and 21 on the ship, I can't turn it in unless I get them all in the ship. And the way I can do that in this case, let's drop those in the cockpit. And now I should be able to complete this contract and get its ridiculously nice fee. Accepted. Finish. Combat croissant. Confirm. What? Okay, I swear I put 23 in there. 21, 23. There are 23 in my combat croissant. I wonder if it also has to be cargo that is accessible to the station, not just in the inventory. So combat croissant, confirm, could not be finished. Now, that makes some sense since I've now thought about it a little. What I've done is I've got some of them accessible through this connector, but some of them not. The ones in the cockpit you cannot get to through this connector. So what I'm going to need to do is actually fly out of here so that I can modify the ship and then come back once I've got everything in an accessible cargo from the connector. All right, let's lock. And let's see if these 23 that are in this cargo container can be delivered. And I'm willing to bet they can. So it seems as though when you complete the contract, it tries to pull everything from the inventory you're delivering with into here. But let's see which 23 go away. Acquisition, finish. Combat croissant, confirm. There we go. Let's go back and have a look and see if it's the ones from that cargo container that went away. I had not planned this test one little bit, but it's turning out to be quite effective. Oh, well, isn't that interesting? So, the ones that are missing are not the ones in this cargo container that it can actually access. The ones that are missing were the ones that were on board the croissant elsewhere. So if we have a look, we used to have some in here. They're gone. Interesting. So it does check where they're stored in these vessels as to whether the base can actually access them. But when it removes the components, it does not use the conveyor system. I have no idea how we can take advantage of that, but you guys might have some ideas. If you do, let me know because I'd like to test them next time. That's kind of cool. Interesting. So, acquisition contracts done. Let's have a look at the next one. I haven't seen any bounty missions yet. I don't know whether they're even in yet, but I haven't been able to see them. Hopefully, they'll be a fun one because it'll be search and destroy. And come on, that's going to be fun. It's just going to be good. It might be even more exciting if you had to escort someone to a bounty or something like that, but maybe we'll be able to see those things eventually. So then we've got hauling. Hauling contract. A partnered station has not been able to supply blah blah blah. What we need to do is provide some collateral, and then we will get this payment when we deliver the stuff. And what is the stuff? Accept, yes. Let's go find out. Deliver package here. I have my package. Oh, it's just 100 kilos of a thing. All right. We have to go... Holy moly, we have to go 24,000 kilometers. Lucky, I've got spectator cam, because I don't really want to jump all that way. That is a long way away. Oh boy. Come on. Come on, spectator cam. You can get there. Yikes. Okay. Hauling contracts. Definitely only do these if you have a jump drive. Or probably definitely only do these if you have 5 or more jump drives. Because I would not want to have to do 12 jumps. Minimum of 12 jumps to get to this place. That is a lot of recharging time. Kind of cool though. I do like that they've made them so crazy far. Creates a very different approach. If they'd been very short distance, you wouldn't have really had to prepare for them at all. Nope. But imagine combining this with an escort mission. That would also be quite cool. So contracts accepted, hauling contract, finish. Yeah. That was a pretty... I'm torn as to whether that's a fair payment. I kind of feel like it is, since to deliver something over that sort of distance would take a lot of resources to begin with, so why not pay out well for it? I can't really think of any ways to take advantage of the hauling contract, to be honest. It pretty much is just get something somewhere, but it would be nice if you can't jump the whole way. There was a little interruption along the way, maybe some drones attack you, that sort of thing. In my testing so far, I haven't been attacked, it's just been get something somewhere. But making there be a little bit of risk to a hauling contract would be kind of fun. Repair contracts are in a lot of ways similar to an acquisition contract. You get a target that you have to fix, and it's going to cost you some components to do so. You'll get payment once you put those components into the ship. Again, I'm in creative mode, so this is going to be a lot easier because I don't have to figure out what components I need, and that is going to add a bit of complexity to this mission versus the acquisition contract, which is nice. Bit of variety. So I think I've fixed every single block on this thing except for these 2 armor plates back here. And when I fix this, it should, yep, there we go. Contract complete. So you do have to fix every single block, including the armor. And just like the escort contract, it's not a true jump when this thing disappears. It actually is a deletion with the cool jump effect. I kind of like the repair contracts. They're a bit more interesting than just a deliver me this number of components and you're good kind of contract. I feel like they're a nice addition compared to the acquisition contract. And while we're flying back to the base, you'll see that there's that private sail and military mine layer out there. These now belong to specific factions, so you can be a pirate and take some of them on. In fact, let's head over to that private sail, and I will give myself a little bit of a gun. Do I carry one? No, I do not. Just to get distracted from contracts for a moment, this little thing here is no longer by default hostile. Again, a very nice adjustment that I'm quite happy about. What happens if I start shooting it? Every single shot is dropping my reputation with them by 1. Ooh, and raising my reputation with the space pirates. So the last contract to look at is search. Let's grab one and accept. Yes. If we go to our accepted contracts, you'll see that we have 22 minutes to find something within a 750 meter radius sphere. That is a big area to find something in. if you're on a planet, it works just fine. These things are really quite easy to locate because you have a two-dimensional space to work on. So you're working within a circle of 750 meter radius. That's a searchable area. In space, if you don't catch something in the right light, chances are you may not find it. So on the rare occasion, and it's been a bit mixed for me so far, that you have something you need to find that does not have a working antenna, discovering it in space is an absolutely horrid experience because it just takes so long and it's not a fun way to play. I think they need to modify the way these search contracts work to either have it so you've got some means of warmer, colder, am I near it, am I moving further away and gradually working closer, or having the location be something that's difficult to reach within the time limit that it gives you. So it's a race to the location. It could even be that if you don't get to the location quickly enough, there'll be some hostiles there. Something like that that makes it so it's not just scanning an area and pulling your hair out like you lost your car keys and you're late for work. It's just, it needs to not be that kind of experience. Or just make these things a planetary experience only, or have them attached to an asteroid. Something that means that you've got a defined area to search in, and I reckon that's going to be our thing. And I got incredibly lucky. You can see how small this is. I am 400 meters from this spot. I'm going to GPS this, and I'm going to fly to the other side of this sphere. And you'll see how difficult that's going to be to spot. I can't even see that, and I know where it is. And just in case you're wondering, options, graphics, I have model quality at extreme. That means the LOD effect of this disappearing should be the absolute minimum it can be. And I can just barely pick out the couple of twinkling pixels as we move around that indicate where that is. And I am not even the maximum distance away. You can see why I feel this needs to have some adjustments done to it. It's not ideal. Maybe I don't know, maybe if they put a 100 meter radius antenna on this or a beacon so that the pocket you're trying to find isn't quite so small, or have it flash, albeit shorter than that Mayday signal that just popped up briefly off to the right of screen. Something like that to help you find it, because otherwise I don't think anyone's going to do these missions. So they just don't quite work. In fact, I like the idea of the flashing thing, since they already use that mechanic. It's something people are used to. Yeah, maybe that's the way they should go. If you've got other ideas like that, make sure you suggest them to Keen, because they might well listen to us. So right now, my standing with the Galactic Miners Guild is -673, and my standing with the Space Pirates is -896. I'm interested to find out if I can improve this standing by fighting the pirates. Will it improve my standing with the Galactic Miners Guild to the point that I'll be able to trade with them again? Oh, we're in gun range. Let's find out. Does anything change with my faction standings as I shoot this Space Pirate grid up? I am not seeing anything change at all. It's not getting worse with the Space Pirates, because they were 873, I believe. 896, was it? Oh, 673 and 896, that's right. Now let's try this with an enemy drone, as I think that might work better than the Mayday signal. And you can see now that I'm shooting it, I'm losing standings with the Space Pirates, but despite being right near this MTAL group station, I'm not gaining any faction standings with them. So if you were to drop to less than -500 standings, currently there's no way to get your standings back up with that faction. You're just stuck with them as an enemy for good. Hopefully that'll change in the future, and they'll introduce a way to get your faction standings back with groups other than the Space Pirates, because right now the Space Pirates are the only ones who you can bring your standings back up above -500 with. Still, I'm pretty excited about this update. It's got a huge amount of content that seems to be coming with it, and it looks like it's going to be a whole lot of fun. especially once some of the amazing modders we have in our community get their hands on it. So if you've got anything you'd like me to test in future videos, let me know. I would love to break some more things, and I would love to test out a few more ideas that I've got as well. So there's all that and plenty more to come, and I will see you then.